Hello and welcome to this, another squat day. So what is it we're doing this session? After the last heavy squat session, we're now back to a low one. So we are back to doing around 70 to 75%. This will be for 4 sets of 6. Now, since the last low session, I have increased the weight only slightly, only by 5 kilo. However, I have opted to do these with no belt and no knee sleeves. The idea behind this is that whilst the weights are lower, it'll help build up the muscularity of the knees and help with actually bracing and working on and keeping core stability. Whilst my lower back is sore, if I didn't do this, it would be quite noticeable. So it's quite a good, slightly sadistic feedback that if I'm not bracing correctly, my back will hurt. As before, these are all Highbar squats, so that we're not actually fatiguing the muscles too much with low bar squats or fatiguing the central nervous system. However, we're making sure that these are nice and deep so that we get the full range of motion. I found with my high bar squat technique, my feet are actually slightly narrower than they would be with my low bar. This is normal for most people. You do also want to make sure that your knees are tracking over your toes and that you're keeping your knees forward as you're coming out of the hole. This helps you actually engage your quads on the way up. You'll notice from the video that we've finished doing the 4 sets of 6 for the normal high bar squats, and we've moved on to the above parallel pause squats. With these being slightly more taxing and needing to brace and actually pause the squat, I have put my belt on this time. This is just to actually support my lower back. As mentioned, it was a bit sore. You'll find these to actually be quite tricky because your body wants to actually accelerate through this point where it's probably going to be a sticking point for your squat. So to actually slow the bar down and come to a complete stop at this point is quite difficult for most people. However, as with most things, it is good to work on what you're weak at. So if you build your weaknesses up, that'll also help build up your strengths too. As this was a Thursday squat session, I did my sumo deadlifts afterwards. These are still working on speed and technique. For these, I'll be doing around 75 to 78% of my 1 rep max for 12 singles. After all the squatting and deadlifting of the last couple of weeks, my hips were starting to get a bit sore, so I actually brought my feet in slightly on these, so it makes it a bit easier on my hips. You may also be wondering why it looks like I'm doing a Mexican wave each time. This is to actually help focus on contracting my lats and pulling them in just before I do the lift. Making sure your lats are tight and pulled in will make sure that the bar doesn't travel away from your legs. It'll also make sure that your back's pulled in nice and tight and you don't bend during the lift. I've been continuing to train my hook grip, and I did all these reps with hook grip and they all felt quite comfortable. Hope this video has been useful. If you've got any questions on either the squats or the pause squats or even the sumo deadlifts, let me know, or if you've got any questions in general. Don't forget to share with anybody that you think may actually help, and like and subscribe to the channel if you're finding it useful. Cheers guys!